This is my face pretty much throughout this episode. So much cringiness going on. Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I am super excited to be talking 90 Day Fiancé, Season 8, Episode 10, The Devil's Work. And you guys, I brought back my favorite co-host, my very own 90 Day Fiancé, my husband Jay. He has a YouTube channel, Dr. Bad Vibes. Be sure to check it out.
That's right, I'm back, because never stop learning, even if all you're learning about is if you're unable to maintain a healthy relationship in your own country, you can probably still not do it from another country.
You're already dropping so much wisdom on us. Let's get into the episode. So we start out with Mike and Natalie. They have 45 days to wed, and these two crazy kids are going to make it. So we start out, he asks her about the word of the day. She says controversial. Our relationship is controversial. And immediately she goes into, I don't have my ring back. And she and Mike are running out of time. So I'm going to say it again. I said it before. I know everybody hates her. I've seen the online hate. They think she's the worst. I got to say, I think it's Mike. Believe me, she's no picnic. She's pretty terrible too. I actually think they deserve each other. But he's pretty awful. We see a lot out of him in this episode where he's giving her less than nothing to work with, and she seems to kind of be trying, and he's just not interested. I think he's doing that weird thing that guys do, no offense, that where you act all distant and mean and hope that the girl will break up with you. That's all I can get from him.
What? Guys never do that. Shut up. Get away from me. So I have a theory, or I guess the more accurate statement would be a hypothesis, because never stop learning. My idea is that I don't know how these contracts are structured on this show, but they probably have to make it to the end to get their full payday, and this guy obviously wants to get paid. He doesn't want to pay anything either. So he's just riding it out for the paycheck at the end of the show. So I won't be surprised if this one, comes to a car wreck at the very last day.
Well, TLC did spoil this for us, and if you don't want to hear the spoiler, fast forward. Spoiler. We see her being driven away, I believe, by his mom. Is it on the wedding day, before the wedding day, right around the wedding day? I think it's coming soon, so... yeah, if you had money on these two making it, I'm sorry to tell you, I don't think it's going to work out. So the whole thing with these two is she keeps suggesting counseling, and he will not hear of it. He just instantly says no. And, further proof he's made his mind up. He won't even try to make this work. So, yeah, let's move on from this couple. Now let's move on to another train wreck that's way more fun to watch. We got Yara and Jovi. When I say fun to watch, I mean their relationship is fun because it's imploding. I can barely look at Jovi. I'm not even trying to look shame or criticize, but his mouth when he smiles, oh my gosh, I can't. He really creeps me out. I get major serial killer vibes from Jovi. Okay, so they have 45 days to wed. It's a few days since she told him she was pregnant. They're in Jovi's hometown. She hasn't met his dad yet. Apparently his dad does what he does, where he goes away for a couple weeks, comes back for a couple weeks, works on boats. So she's going home to meet him. Dad's concerned about how it'll all work out. Mom says that they're going to have a get-together tonight. Get-together is another way to explain that they're having a party, and that is exactly what Yara does not want. Her family's not able to be there, so she's not wanting to do a big celebration.
Yeah, this dude's turned into full-on Tim Curry villain. I expect him to be at the hotel walking in on Kevin McAllister showering and not even being embarrassed. He's just going to insult him, body shame him.
So Jovi can't go more than 10 minutes without having alcohol, so he's going to go drinking with his buddies and leave his pregnant fiance there with his mom. Actually, no, take that back. They're leaving her there by herself while her mom drives. His mom drives Jovi and the dad to his friend's house. Yara has to stay there by herself, wait for mom to get back while they talk shit about her. And she's going to decorate for her engagement party that she really didn't want to have. None of this is a good idea.
So I haven't watched this show before, so I'm not real familiar with how all of this works. But do any of these couples actually work out like long term? Because these two so far are just awful. The pregnancy storyline, or I guess reality of it. I mean, they're both just trapped now, and they hate each other. It sounds like a ton of fun.
What are you talking about? This is a deep, meaningful relationship that's obviously going to work out, where he insults her, get drunk, calls her stupid, leaves her at home alone with a baby for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. What's not to love about this situation? Makes sense to me. All right, let's move on to Tariq and Hazel. Now remember, Tariq lives in Virginia Beach. Hazel came in from the Philippines, 41 days to get married. She's never driven a car, so he's teaching her how to drive on the lawnmower. I'm going to give you my honest opinion here. I think he seems like the nicest guy. I think he genuinely cares about her. I don't get the same vibe from her about him, but I do think he genuinely is a nice guy. He takes care of his child who's got special needs. He's trying to make sure Hazel's comfortable. He seems to be the only guy on here that's really paying attention to how she's adjusting and how she's feeling, and I just really like him. I liked him even more this episode. So all that to say, he seems way too normal to be on this show. She's got some issues. She's got some stuff going on. I felt terrible for her. It's hard to make fun of this part. She's dealing with her son being so far away in the Philippines, and he's got a fever, and that would be the scariest thing in the whole world. Of course, pandemic is going around, and she's so upset, and he's just trying to be there for her, and he says he feels guilty because she's there for him. So there's a lot going on there, and I really feel for Tariq especially. Tariq, I never say his name right. But I really like him. I think he's probably the most normal on the show.
Yeah, this guy's probably the nicest guy in the whole show. He seems like he actually cares about her. Not the same way around, though. She seems to be treating him as rather than the third party in a threesome, he's the third wheel in a twosome. She just wants her girlfriend, and he's the means to get her.
Yeah, it sounds like we'll be getting more into that storyline next week. I can't imagine that's going to go well. She's already had jealousy issues with the last girlfriend, and he just wants to make her happy, so I don't see that going well for them. Now we're on to your favorites, the most stable, normal person on the show. Sense my sarcasm there. Stephanie. It's Stephanie and Ryan, or as she calls him, her 27-year-old fiancé. She cannot say the name Ryan without saying, my 27-year-old fiancé. She says that they feel connected again, but we find out they're not having sex. Dun, dun, dun. It's been a whirlwind of emotions. I can't imagine why. Remember last episode she told him that she slept with his cousin, Harris. So, yeah, that's a really good thing to tell your fiance, right?
Yeah, so the gist of the storyline here is rich lady wants a young boyfriend. She likes to point out how young her boyfriend is, and he likes receiving her money and gifts, which I guess works. I don't know. It does show her meeting with a psychic at some point, but do you really need a crystal ball to see where this is going? I think I could come up with the same prediction as what's going to happen with a bowling ball from Goodwill.
Yeah, I'm going to need to borrow that bowling ball and see what else is in the future.
Splitsville!
So I couldn't just come right out here and guess if somebody's on pills or not, but do you think she's on pills? Pills. Now, what's up with her? What am I missing here? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just straight up asking, what am I missing? Is she that stupid? Is she crazy? Is she a little bit of both? Is it pills? Is it alcohol? Is it alcohol and pills? What are your guesses? I'm not a doctor. I don't know. These are just my guesses. So the interesting part we find out here is that his mom has blocked her. Now, I want to remind you guys, she's older than his mom. She doesn't like to admit that, so she says she thinks of his mom as her mom, too, because she's going to be her mother-in-law. How crazy is this? But she's been giving the family money and helping to support them, and She got into it with his mom because she threatened to take the money back, and she was explaining not all of it, just the last payment. And his mom got pissed and blocked her. So, yeah, again, these are, red flags that you may want to investigate before you tie the knot. Then we go over to Andrew, or as we like to call him, Magic the Gathering. So he, poor thing, has been on a 2-week Mexican vacation, swimming, eating cheeseburgers, relaxing. Aw, don't you feel sorry for him? Because he does. He goes back to the airport, he meets up with mom, and he has this insane conversation in the car.
I'm surprised how much they've been able to milk from this guy's footage. It's like he went to Mexico and had a vacation by himself while the girl was detained. Like, how have they made this last so long?
What are you talking about? This poor guy's had it so hard. If you don't believe him, just ask him. He'll tell you. Do you love how even mom here was kind of like, what the hell are you talking about? When he started telling her these great ideas to go to Serbia. No, not for him to go to Serbia, for Amira to go to Serbia and spend 2 weeks, because the U.S. will definitely let her in after that. What in the world? He's so convinced. He's like, there's no risk. Again, he's not going, but there's no risk. So we didn't see any of Amira this episode. So my question is, did she already dump his ass? I hope she did. Did she dump him and they're just like using this footage to give him more of a storyline? I just don't understand what's happening here. He's hard to watch.
Side note, what's up with this guy's apartment and the decor? Did he inherit it from somebody, or is he renting a pre-furnished one? It looks like something your grandmother would have decorated.
Honestly, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm actually surprised that I didn't see a single sword on the wall, because he looks like the kind of guy that would own some swords. Okay, so now let's move on to Rebecca and Zied. Once again, I say it every week. Zied, he's fine. He seems like a nice guy. They have 84 days to wed. I don't give 2 shits about Rebecca. I think she has the most boring storyline. I think nothing's going on with them. I actually think they seem like a pretty happy couple. I think they're manufacturing drama just to keep them on the show. But it's so boring. So I'm going to try to cover this, but honestly, we're going to skip past it. He's FaceTiming with his family, and he misses his niece and nephew. His sister's worried about him. He says it's difficult, the space between him and his family. What's Rebecca's solution? Hey, I know your culture doesn't believe in tattoos. I got you some tattoos. What? So she got him some temporary tattoos. They will last 4 to 5 days, depending on how much you shower. He's saying if his family saw the fake tattoos, they'd be so angry. So let's go ahead and do this. This seems like a really good idea.
Yeah, this is already the most boring couple of the show, but I feel like conflict is like being introduced by production somehow. Like, why would you think, oh yeah, your religion or culture is not keen on tattoos? Here's some tattoos.
Yeah, we'll get into the manufactured part of it all when we get into the next scene with them. I just can't with Rebecca. Okay, moving on. So we're back to Jovi and Yara, and they talk about, are you guys, how are you doing? Are you comfortable in America? And what do you think about Louisiana/New Orleans? She's like, I hate it. That's what you want to hear. So again, you might want to figure this out, before you decide to spend your life with somebody. So they talk about the possibility of going to another country. She's talking about Budapest potentially. Jovi to camera says Budapest is a great city, but he doesn't want to live there. Again, these are conversations you might want to have before you get engaged/have a baby. So this part was kind of a time waster. He's over drinking with his friends because that's what he does. And they're like, oh, Jovi and Jovi ways, and he loves strippers. This keeps coming up, how much he loves strippers. Ew. Apparently he loves to go out drinking every night and go to strippers. He's like, not anymore. Since when? Like 2 weeks? Because we've seen you drink an awful lot on camera, Jovi. I want to remind everybody he was drinking at like 8 in the morning. What was it, bourbon or whiskey or something when he arrived at the airport? Sure. So the friends are betting on how long this marriage is going to last. They said they have to be married, like 3 years, I think, for her to be able to stay. So they think he'll be married for 3 years and 1 month. And then it's not going to work out. He's meanwhile keeping the secret that she's expecting. Okay, so then we go back to Mike and Natalie. Again, a love story for the ages. I believe this is what Shakespeare was writing about, right? I just have in my notes, they are not good. They can't agree on anything. He won't hear of going to counseling, and she's hoping he'll change his mind about it. I have in my notes here, he's much nicer to that damn cat than he is to her. He talks sweet to the cat, he won't talk to her. I'm so sorry, I don't remember your name. One of you guys very correctly pointed out that he is much more open in his confessionals. He's much better at communicating in his confessionals than he is with her. That's an excellent point. He's suggesting that they go get drunk and let loose tonight. He goes to get a beer. She says once again, will you go to counseling? And he just immediately says no. So he's annoyed and frustrated. She says it's important to her. He's like, no. So he's not even trying. Again, I'm not saying she's an angel, believe me. I've caught a lot of comments from you guys saying you can't stand her. I get it. She is tough. Jay can't with her because her makeup is so bad.
Yeah, believe me. If I notice it, it's probably a big deal. She looks good, like in most normal scenes, but when they do these testimonial shoots, I don't know what's going on. I mean, my makeup experience extends from working the face painting booth in high school. So I don't know what I'm talking about, but if you have light skin, you probably want to go with light makeup, not really dark makeup. But all that being said, I mean, she can wash the makeup off. Sasquatch can't shave all the hair off. I mean, this dude's no prize. And I mean, when your only friend is a supercut stylist, I mean, what's going on?
This is weird. They make a point to show this is his only friend that he talks to. This is the second time we've seen this girl. He's getting his hair cut. And she's asking the obligatory producer-led questions about where's your relationship going? How's it stand? Look at his face when he talks to this girl versus talking to his fiance. He's much happier and lighter, and it's so strange to watch. I'd be so pissed if I was Natalie seeing this. But the hairdresser explains, hey, maybe it is a good idea to go to counseling. And he's like, oh, hey, since you said it and not Natalie, maybe it is a good idea. What?
Oh, yeah, which reminds me, I went to the grocery store the other day, and the self-checkout said, please take your bag, so I'm moving out.
Well, shit, I guess I need to go put on a whole lot of makeup and try to pick up somebody from the Ukraine. Back to Tariq and Hazel. They have 40 days to wed. Of course, they're still in the throes of coronavirus. We still are in the throes of coronavirus. Okay. Hazel's completely stressed. She's worried about her son Harry. She hasn't gotten a call back. Remember last we heard he was having a fever and she was so scared. Harry lives with his father and stepmother in the Philippines. And the plan is eventually to get him there to America. She calls Ruby the stepmom. They talk about Harry. Luckily, we find out he's doing better. Thank goodness for that. He's very excited to see her. It's like, Mommy! And that seems to really, obviously, cheer her up. We see a very touching scene of Tariq. I'm still not saying his name right. Tariq, I think. Being so sweet with Harry. And then we see Ari, Tariq's daughter, getting on and talking to Harry. And they're saying hi to each other. So one of the few touching scenes in the show. I'm actually rooting for them to work out and for Harry to have a nice, happy life. Okay, listen to my eyes rolling out of my head as I say, now we go to Rebecca and Zied. Hey, that right. They're going to dinner, right? And this is totally not producer setup, as Jay mentioned earlier. It's their daughter Tiffany and her fiance Micah. Their friends are meeting them for dinner. And this hometown hottie is there for Zied because all the girls want Zied, right? Actually, I think Zied's a much better prize than Rebecca. But Yeah, so it's very strange. He's talking about how things are different in Tunisia than they are in America. PDA is different. You can get 6 months in jail for sleeping with your girlfriend. And this girl, Hannah, says Zied's different in a good way. Ooh. I have in my notes, this feels so fake and so set up.
Yeah, there's this whole flirting scene going on, and she offers to uh, help him move, and he can borrow her truck, and et cetera, et cetera. The whole thing just feels fake. There was a good side story about how, PDA would get you 6 months in jail, and somebody told an anecdote where they saw somebody fingering a girl on a park bench, and that would probably get you life in prison, I guess.
Oh my God, leave it to you to remember that story. I totally forgot about that. They did say that. I was kind of surprised. Oh my gosh. This show. Yeah, so she pretends like she's kind of flirting with him. He pretends not to notice. Rebecca pretends to be jealous. This whole thing is stupid. Even her daughter basically says, Mom, this is stupid. This doesn't make any sense. And that's the end of that. I do find it funny that Rebecca's whole MO is she used to be with a very controlling man and she will not be controlled. And now the first time we see a girl even kind of looking towards Zied, she's controlling him. The irony is not lost on me. So then we're back to Natalie and Mike. They have 42 days to wed. Today's the big day where they're going to couples therapy because, again, he's doing what his haircutter friend told him to do, rather than listening to his fiance. They both have communication issues, imagine that. And she said she feels relieved. She hopes that they can get instruction on how to treat each other in a respectful way. So they go to meet with this therapist, Doug.
Just another random observation I've got to point out. So last episode we had somebody wearing transition lenses. Now we got this guy wearing a Bluetooth douche headset. Who still wears those? This was filmed in 2020, I guess. Like, get some AirPods or some Beats or something wireless. Like, who wears the freaking one-ear Bluetooth thing anymore?
It's obviously the only thing that would pair with his razor, so he needs to wear it. Seriously though, yeah, it was so distracting. You're there to have communication and work on your communication, yet you're going to sit there with a Bluetooth in your ear? You dumb.
It's for communication.
Communication with what? Yeah, so the therapist isn't impressed either. He wants to know what they want out of this. And Mike says, I don't know, and points at Natalie. Again, his communication is stellar. He'll talk to everybody else, won't talk to her. They want to talk more, they want to argue less. What's that like?
Why are you asking me? Can't you see I'm on an important Bluetooth call? But seriously, I mean, this dude's just riding it out till the end of his contract. I mean, he has no interest. He's probably annoyed that he had to pay for this session unless he got production to do it.
So the therapist asks Natalie, what do you most want Mike to know? She says, it's hard for me to leave my country. I'm adapting to culture. I feel like I have emotions and you just ignore them. I think every person deserves respect, and when she asks him to be more detailed and to listen to her, he just can't do it. And I kind of agree. That's what we've seen, in the footage we've been shown. Again, she's no saint. She's awful. She likes to poke and prod him and push his buttons. She knows what she's doing, but yeah, he's pretty awful too. So the big crux of this scene was the therapist wants them to share why they're still together, and she's giving him credit for putting in huge effort to getting her there with a K-1 visa. She says thank you and she appreciates it. And he's kind of a dick about it. He says, you didn't answer the question. What? She's just trying to say thank you for everything you've done. But okay, fine, we'll play devil's advocate. Let's see his side for a second. So she didn't answer the question. He asked, why did you come here? And she says, we fell in love with each other, and the therapist, or maybe it was Mike, asked if they're still in love. She says it's difficult for her. It's difficult for her a lot. He says they're not in love right now. And he's saying, why is it difficult for him to talk about the wedding? Because they aren't in love. She says it's hard to hear someone say that he doesn't love you, She says she was married for 8 years. Did you guys know that? I did not know that. I didn't see her season before I guess she was on. I did not know she was married for 8 years. Her ex-husband never said, "I don't love you." She wishes that she didn't hear it. And she asks him, "Do you want me to go home?" He says, "Do you feel like we're in love when we first met?" So I say to him, "You didn't answer the question." She says, "No." He says that they can't work on anything if they don't communicate. So again, these guys are definitely going to make it.
So I came in a few episodes late, so I don't know the whole story with this couple, but the whole thing is just cringy. I mean, we're just watching the clock tick down until 90 and she goes home, I assume, unless there's some miracle that happens at the end.
So from one happy couple to another, we go over to Yara and Jovi. These two crazy kids have 45 days to wed. He's saying he likes her dress, and how much did you spend on it? She says a few $1,000s. He says, "I hope you're kidding." They don't answer that. I'd be curious too. She's obviously pregnant. She feels sick. This afternoon he went out with his friends. She doesn't feel comfortable. She's pissed because he didn't bring her food. It is pretty rude. She doesn't eat seafood, and he brought her home some crawfish. He thought she might like that. I think he's just very, very self-absorbed. I think she probably is too, but he just seems like he's all about himself and his drinking. So they're debating whether or not to tell everybody that she's pregnant. He doesn't want to tell them yet, especially on the heels of the potentially moving to another country conversation. She wants to tell them because it would help explain why she's not drinking and why she's so tired.
They should have just gone with my excuse and said she didn't properly devein the crawfish and ate all the sea doo-doo inside of it.
Ew, sea doo-doo, that's so gross. I'd rather eat a whole big heaping vat of sea doo-doo than hang out with Jovi. So they're headed to this wonderful engagement party. They're fighting, they're barely speaking, and finally it comes to a head because she calls him an alcoholic. Because he's an alcoholic. He's like, "I've had 9 beers, I'm not drunk." Sure. She says, "You think I'm stupid." And he says, "When you talk like that, you are stupid." Oh my God. Kick this guy to the curb. You're better off going back home, just starting over again. So he says that she's picking a fight. She says if she wasn't pregnant, she'd be in the Ukraine. And then she says, "Son of a bitch." Which now I'm kind of kicking myself because I feel like I probably should have put that in our wedding vows. Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Now we're back over to Stephanie and her 27-year-old fiance, Ryan. I say it like that because she can only call him that. They had a great day hula hooping and laughing. P.S. What the hell is she wearing? What is this outfit? What's up with the mouth and the teeth? And what's happening here? I wouldn't be able to concentrate.
Oh, don't open that Amazon package. I'll get it. Also, what's up with the hula hooping world record? I guess, it's cool to have goals, but why?
So we find out here that they still haven't boned. I guess she's been too busy hula hooping. And, maybe telling him that she boned his cousin, that might turn him off a little bit. She asks him again about being with somebody else. He promises he hasn't been. She explains she's been checking in with a psychic who keeps reminding her about the card that she pulled, saying that Ryan's been with another woman. So again, this is just like set up for success, right? So he, by the way, was wearing a mask of the two of them, which is just, it's such a page out of, Rebecca's book where you plaster your pictures all over everything, like a teenage girl. No offense if teenage girls are listening. So it just gets weirder and weirder. He's pissed at her because she can't stop talking about the psychic. He actually has a pretty good point, which is, "I don't believe in psychic stuff. I don't know how to defend myself against this. You're throwing these things at me. They're not true. What am I supposed to say here?" And he's getting more pissed. And, then she starts talking about the pressure from his mom to have a baby. And he's like, "No, I don't want a kid." And she's like, "You don't want a kid right now?" And he's like, "No, I don't want a kid." So again, things are going really well for these two. He says that she's looking for things to argue about. And she's like, "No, I'm not." No, I don't know. I just thought this whole thing was weird. She seems clingy to him the whole time, but she did seem to be picking fights at this dinner, so I didn't know what that was about. But they're 25 years apart. She brings that up. Hello, you're not just learning this. You've known this the whole time. He's trying to say age doesn't matter. Like, it's just a weird dynamic between these two. And, you know, they go through dinner fighting. They kind of have a scene right after dinner where they're hugging and kissing, and she's saying, maybe I'll get laid tonight. And again, in my notes, I have acting weird. Is she on pills, ? Allegedly. But then, you guys, we see 4 hours later, back at the hotel. Oh my gosh. She's yelling, don't you effing lie to me, Ryan. She says, I need you to sit down. Are you afraid of the truth? And then, why would you do that to me? He says, I'm going to go. I have a cab waiting for me. And she said, yeah, with whose money? And then she says, oh my God, are you kidding me? F off and die, Ryan. So again, wow. Like the best part of the episode, and it ends on that note. I've got to see what's going on here and what they're fighting about.
Perhaps we'll get payoff in the form of the M. Night Shyamalan's twist ending of him standing there hula hooping while wearing transition lenses with the Bluetooth headset on.
A great ending, and his mom's off in the corner giving Stephanie the finger. I'd totally watch that movie. So that's how the episode ends. Jay pointed out that Brandon and Julia weren't in this one. This is the first time we haven't seen them, and I miss those crazy kids. But guess what? Next week we get a sneak preview. Somebody's taking a pregnancy test. Oh my God, I can't wait. Can you imagine? That mom is so, like, has to be the center of attention. If there's a baby on the way, she's going to be pissed. So, yeah. They're telling the parents about the test, so I gotta figure they wouldn't just be telling them for funsies because they know the parents are going to hit the roof. So, I wonder if there's a baby on board. Oh my God, they're so stupid. Can't wait to see Mom and Dad fly off the handle for this one. Sounds like they've been sharing a room after all.
Or potentially a park bench. This is America.
Then we have Hazel and Tariq working on the girlfriend situation. Rebecca and Zied. Rebecca's worried about kids. Again, this is something you might want to figure out, before you get engaged. Stephanie calls Harris. Again, that is Ryan's cousin. The same guy she boned before and asked him to come over. Really good idea, Stephanie. This is really going to work out well. Natalie and Mike are fighting because, what else is new? And Jovi gets drunk because what else is new? Yara's pissed and saying that he only cares about alcohol. And I say, are you just figuring that out? Because that seems to be his MO the whole time. And that's it for the episode, you guys. This was so much fun to recap. I love having my sidekick here with me. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all the wonderful comments. So much fun to talk about all these dysfunctional couples. It makes me feel better about my situation.
Well, thanks for having me. Hopefully this will replenish our life savings that we dropped on GameStop stocks. And also, speaking of games, I do have a YouTube channel that focuses on retro video game highlights. Probably not a whole lot of audience crossover there, I understand. But if you're a fan of suffering, I just did one of those one-chip challenges where I ate one of those ungodly hot chips and melted my insides. That's the most current video I have up, so that's a thing if you're interested.
Link that video here in the end if I can, or at least link his channel, because that one's definitely worth watching. He is pretty much crying throughout the entire video, and I gotta say, I very much enjoyed seeing that. So thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Thanks for all the support. We hope you stay safe, stay healthy. Leave me comments, check out my other videos, lots of stuff going up. A lot of you guys were asking about my Bling Empire schedule. I do still have more of those going up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check it out. It's a great show on Netflix, but I just filmed 2 more of those, so I'll put those up. It's a busy week. I'll put them up one of the days, so probably Friday, so check that out. And thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.